Hey guys, it's Jenny Hobbs, Fit Mom MD, and yes, you can see I'm back here with my favorite spot with my tree and my fireplace, just like last week, and I'll probably be here next week. I'd like to continue it as long as possible because this is like my favorite thing, but at some point it'll probably get a little bit weird. And my husband might want to take down the tree. So we'll see how long I can get away with it. Anyway, so today I want to talk with you about how to deal with negative people, how to deal with the Grinches in your life. Let's make this topical, right? And I actually was thinking about this topic partly because I did watch the new Grinch movie with my daughter today, which by the way is so good. The animated one from 2018. It's very good. And I was just having a really interesting perspective as I was watching the Grinch. And I realized that the way that I thought about him was a lot different than it would have been before I had worked on myself so much through all the personal growth that I've done. So what I want to do is share with you the 3 questions that I ask myself when I'm interacting with a very negative person or a negative situation, and things that have really helped me to deal with those things in a more positive and productive way. And I think this is a really great practical topic for us at this time of year when we're seeing a lot of people who are busy and stressed out, whether it's with traffic or, driving home to see family or running errands or in stores, or it's even your own family as you're heading home for the holidays to celebrate and things like that. So I think these can be really simple questions you can keep in mind as you're heading to all of these events and running your errands. So let's get started. Okay, so the first question that I ask myself is, what if they are just doing the best that they can? What if they are truly doing their best? I got this question from Brene Brown. She's so amazing. It was one of her books, and it really changes your perspective on someone who may frustrate you, because instead of being like just expecting them to be something they're not and being mad or annoyed, it can help you give them a little bit of grace for where they're at. And yeah, you might think to yourself, well, they should be doing better, but that's, first of all, even if that's true, it's not really going to help anything, right? It's not going to help you approach the situation in a positive way. It's just going to bring you down and make you frustrated and be banging your head against the wall. So it's much easier to do that thought experiment of, what if they're really, truly just doing their best? And this is the very best they can do based on the way they were raised, their life experiences until now. Or I have this meditation I listen to, and it says, everyone is truly doing the best that they can from the level of consciousness they're at. And I love that reminder, because just because, you've attained a certain level of consciousness after the experiences you've had for the last year or 5 years or 10 years, they haven't had those same experiences. Maybe they haven't risen to that level of consciousness. And it's just not fair to expect everyone to be at the same, level of consciousness or the same mindset, because not everyone's had the same life experiences, upbringing, etc. Right? And so it's just not helpful to expect them to be something they're not. So what if they're just doing the best that they can? And if you can ask yourself that question and put yourself in that frame of reference, it works so much better. The second thing that I always ask myself is, what if there's something I can't see here? What if there's another perspective I'm missing? Because as you know, anytime you look at something, you're not just seeing the object, you're also seeing it from your perspective, right? And so, if you're looking at something through a mirror, right, it's going to look the opposite. And if you're looking at something with something blocking your view, you may not see everything. And so in human interactions, this is like all the time in traffic, people don't see what you see. And so people can make a lot of assumptions about other people driving, doing something. Like, have you ever been like waiting for someone to walk across the street and you don't want to hit them, so you're waiting to take the right turn, and the person behind you is like blaring on the horn like you're being slow and not turning, because they can't see the person you're trying not to hit with your car, right? Or the other day I was parallel parking over at the school, and the way my car is set up, I have a backup camera right here, and then my phone is like plugged in right next to it. And so I was backing in, and this guy was annoyed that it was taking me a long time to do my parallel parking. He was going the other way, and I could see him over there going, "Get off your phone," like getting all mad. Because he thought, because I was looking at my backup camera, that I was watching my phone and not paying attention, but I wasn't. But he didn't have the perspective, because he could only see, the other side, right? And so this happens all the time. And again, even if there isn't another perspective, and even if your perspective is completely correct and they are doing something annoying, it's just easier to take that pause and, give them that benefit of the doubt. You're going to end up being happier for it, frankly. And at the end of the day, That's really what's important, right? That guy, he went away and it was making him mad and ruining his day, and he was putting all this emotional energy into something that wasn't even true, right? And even if I had been looking at my phone, he would still have been putting that negative energy into something that would have ruined his day a lot more than it ruined mine, right? And so really at the end of the day, think, is there some other side of this that I don't know? Is there a perspective I'm not getting? Can I ask a question to clarify that? Or can I just let it go and assume that they have a positive intent, right? And this is a big thing Kevin and I have learned as we work through, in our relationship and in marriages too. Assuming positive intent in your partner and the other person involved always pays off. Because again, most of us are not interacting with sociopaths on a regular basis. And so most people do have a positive intent, even if you can't fully understand their perspective. So that really helps me a lot. Okay, and the third thing is, what if I just don't let their negativity in? What if I just don't let it affect me? I know this sounds obvious, right? But it's so hard to do. I struggle with this all the time. Like when that guy was mad at me and about the parking thing, it wasn't even based on anything in real life, but it still made me feel negative and cranky, right? And that happens all the time. I do this with my kids. Their biggest fights are like, Charlie says, "Oh, Nora told me my favorite color is blue and it's not blue." And he's so mad. And I'm like, dude, her words have no meaning. She can say whatever she wants. Don't let it bring you down, right? But he just goes so negative. Like, this person said this thing that's not true about me. And so I'm teaching him, like, it's a job to protect yourself. There's an old saying that says, a whole sea of water cannot sink a ship unless it's let inside, right? And so we are that ship, and we got to hold the water outside and not allow the negativity in. And we can do that. It just takes constant vigilance and practice and asking that question. What if I just don't let this moment affect me? What if I just don't let that person's negativity, which is based on wherever they came from today, whatever bad thing happened to them, what if I don't let that get, to me? All right, so there you have it. Those are the 3 questions that I recommend you keep in mind to ask yourself when you run into a negative situation, run into any Grinches at your holiday events that are coming up. It's really, really helpful. So the first one is, what if everyone is just doing the best that they can? The next one is, what if there's something I just don't see here? What if there's a different perspective? And the third one is, what if I just don't let their negativity in? Okay? And really quickly, just indulge me. So if you've seen that Grinch movie from last year, it totally relates to all 3 of these. So the first one, what if he's just doing the best that he can, right? From his level of consciousness, from his perspective, from being raised, in an orphanage without gifts, without all the love and care and, education and things like that, right? He's just doing his best. And even if he's not doing his best, it doesn't benefit the people down in Whoville to be worrying about his negativity when he's up there making himself miserable, right? They might as well enjoy themselves, because there's no help to anyone to worry about that. So that's the first one. Next one, what if there's a perspective you just don't see? So again, the Who's in Whoville did not see his perspective, where he had grown up and what he had missed out on and the things that had damaged him. And likewise, he thought they were all just very greedy and all about the presents and not into the real meaning of Christmas anyway, consumerism, right? So he had that perspective. He didn't see the other side. He thought Cindy Lou Who was mailing a letter to ask for a big present, but really she was trying to get help for her mom. And he completely jumped to a conclusion there, right? So what if there's a perspective you're just not seeing, right? And then the last one, what if you just don't let his negativity in? And in the movie, there's this guy who's this very jolly Christmas guy, and the Grinch is being all negative about him. And the Grinch even says, this guy thinks we're friends, right? And he's being super mean. And the guy is so nice back to him the whole way through the movie, right? He does not let the Grinch's negativity get him down. He just goes with it. Same with Cindy Lou Who. She doesn't either. And so I know life is not a movie and yada, 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 and we don't have hearts growing 2 sizes. But nonetheless, I think these are good tips that can really be helpful, and maybe that'll be a fun way for you to keep it in mind and remember it over the next week. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful holiday week with your family, and I will see you right back here with more tips next week. Please do be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you find this helpful, and let me know what topics you'd like to hear in the future. Thanks again, and have a great week.